Welcome everybody, I'm Double IB and those are my predictions for the week 4 of the NFL season. In the first game of this season, on Thursday night, we had the LA Rams playing against the Minnesota Vikings. With Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters injured, I feel like this game will be way closer than people think. Minnesota Vikings lost last week against the Buffalo Bills in a surprising loss, and LA Rams didn't surprise us by winning their game and being 3-0 in this season. This game will have been a really good game if Vikings have played better last week and if Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters were healthy. But I still feel like the LA Rams will win this game by a score of 21-17. For the Sunday night game, we will start with the Houston Texans playing against the Indianapolis Colts. We have the Houston Texans who lost last week against the Giants and the Colts who lost against the Philadelphia Eagles. Houston didn't show us a lot of good things. Deshaun Watson isn't a really good quarterback. He hasn't lived to his hype from last year. And Andrew Luck is playing okay, and he could win some games for the Colts. So that's why I feel like the Colts will win this game by a score of 24-17. In the next game, we had the Green Bay Packers playing against the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills won last week against the Minnesota Vikings by showing us that they could compete in this league. And on the other side, we had the Green Bay Packers who lost last week against the Washington Redskins. And Aaron Rodgers couldn't have enough help on the offensive side, and his left knee is not showing a lot of improvement. But I will still give the win to the Green Bay Packers because they're playing at home and because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers could really change the game by himself. And I feel like after last week's loss, he will want to bounce back and his team will do all the things necessary to accomplish that. So I'll give the win to the Green Bay Packers by a score of 12-9. In the next game, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing against the Chicago Bears. In this game, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who lost last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but still, they had a good offense. Ryan Fitzpatrick threw for over 400 yards for third game in a row. And the other side, we have the Chicago Bears who won last week because of Arizona Cardinals turnover. So that's why I think this game will be really a close game. But in the end, I feel like the Buccaneers will win this game because of their offensive play and their mentality of win now mode. So I'll give them the win by a score of 28-27. In the next game, we have the Miami Dolphins playing at New England against the Patriots. In this game, we have the surprising 3-0 Miami Dolphins, who didn't play against good competition. So this week, they'll have a great game against the New England Patriots to show us what they're really made of. But the Patriots will want to revenge their last 2 weeks' losses, so I feel like they will bounce back really hard against their divisional rivals. So they will be with no mercy on them. Miami Dolphins will bring out a great fight, but in the final, Patriots will win this game by a score of 21-17. In the next game, we have the Detroit Lions playing against the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott shows that he's not a really good quarterback, and that the Dallas Cowboys should not build around him, but more around the Ezekiel Elliott and their up-and-coming defense. On the other side, we have the Detroit Lions, who finally won a game last week against the New England Patriots. So I feel like this game will be won by the Detroit Lions because Matt Stafford is a great quarterback. Kerryon Johnson shows that finally the Lions could have a 100-yard rusher, and their defense is playing really good. So that's why I'll give the win to the Detroit Lions by a score of 21-17. In the next game, we had the Cincinnati Bengals playing against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons lost last week's game against the New Orleans Saints by a heartbreaking loss, and the Cincinnati Bengals lost last week to the Panthers. So I feel like this game will be two teams who want to go back on the win column, and the Atlanta Falcons have lost really key pieces on their defense, and the Cincinnati Bengals lost Ryan Glasso on their defensive line. So those two teams are banged up, and I'm still not sure what AJ Green is looking like. So two banged up teams playing one against each other. So I'll give the win to the home team in the Atlanta Falcons by a score of 27-20. After that, we had the New York Jets playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Those two teams lost last week, and the Jacksonville Jaguars really surprised me by losing to the Tennessee Titans. So I feel like the Jets should see that they have a chance to win this game, but the Jacksonville Jaguars with a good defense they can show us that they're really good. And Blake Bortles should show us that he wants to bounce back. So the Jaguars will give us great competition. On the other side, the Jets with Sam Darnold who played okay against the Cleveland Browns, Isaiah Crowell who played good at running back, and their defense will play really bad by allowing the Cleveland Browns to win this game. So finally, I think the win will go to the Jacksonville Jaguars because they have a really good defense compared to the New York Jets. So Jaguars will win this game by a score of 21-10. In the final game at 1 o'clock on Sunday, we have the Philadelphia Eagles playing at Tennessee Titans. In this game, we have Carson Wentz and Marcus Mariota, two young quarterbacks who will show us a great competition. But with Carson Wentz being a better quarterback, I feel like the Eagles will have the advantage. Tennessee Titans won last week against the Jaguars, but they only scored 9 points on the field goal. But their defense played really good against the Jacksonville offense by only allowing 6 points. So I feel like this game will be a really close game, so I had to choose one side. So I choose for the Eagles because they're Super Bowl champions and their quarterback is better in Carson Wentz. So I will give them the win by a score of 17-12. So for the game in the afternoon, we will start with the Cleveland Browns playing against the Oakland Raiders. The Browns finally won a game last week against the New York Jets, and the Oakland Raiders still are losing. Even if they were having a lead against the Miami Dolphins, they managed to lose that game. But this week they're playing against the Cleveland Browns, so I think they have more chances to win. They're playing at home, and I feel like this game will be really close. Cleveland Browns finally know what it is to win, and I think they want to continue in that path. But the Oakland will playing at home, and John Gruden really has to win this game. If not, I think he will be already on the hot seat. So I'll give them the win by a score of 17-14. In the next game, we have the Seattle Seahawks playing against the Arizona Cardinals. Josh Rosen will start his first game in the NFL against the Seattle Seahawks at home. I feel like Josh Rosen will show us that he wants to compete for the NFL Rookie of the Year, with Baker Mayfield showing that he's a good quarterback, and Sam Darnold, who also played well, and Josh Allen also. So I think those four quarterbacks will be in the competition for NFL Rookie of the Year, and Josh Rosen will want to put his name on the list. So I feel like he will play his best against the Seattle Seahawks defense, who's not really good. They play well against the Dallas Cowboys, but it's the Dallas Cowboys, so they're not really good. And last week the Cardinals lost only because of the number of turnover they had against a good defense in the Chicago Bears. So I feel like this game the Arizona Cardinals have the chance of winning. And I'll give Josh Rosen his first win in his first start against the Seattle Seahawks by a score of 17-14. In the next game, we have the New Orleans Saints against the New York Giants. And in this game, we have the Drew Brees and his offense playing against the New York Giants and their defense, who's really poor. So I feel like this game is already over just by saying that. The Saints offense is way better than the Giants defense. And on the other side, Giants offense against the Saints defense is not a big difference. They are pretty much similar. So I feel like Saints will win this game by a score of 24-10. In the next game, we had the San Francisco 49ers playing against the LA Chargers. With Jimmy Garoppolo out, the 49ers have not a lot of things to wish for in this season. Only thing that they can wish is have a bad season and have a good pick to help Jimmy Garoppolo improving. On the other side, the LA Chargers have a really bad start of the season like they always do, but I feel like in this week it will be the first week where they bounce back and have a good rest of the season. I feel like Philip Rivers is on a roll with Mike Williams, who's playing really great. So I'll give the win to the LA Chargers by a score of 24-10. For Sunday night, we have the Baltimore Ravens playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers often finally show up by winning against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Baltimore Ravens won last week against the Denver Broncos in a really close game. So I feel like Pittsburgh Steelers will have the advantage by playing at home, and their offense is finally waking up. And their defense played okay, but the offense is a priority in this team, with James Conner, who didn't show us a lot of good things after the first week. Juju Smith-Schuster, who played incredible for the first 3 games of the season. Antonio Brown, who's playing okay. And Big Ben, who's showing us that he can still throw the ball in the NFL. I feel like the Steelers have a really good offense. They will be able to manage the Baltimore Ravens defense. And Joe Flacco and his offense cannot do a lot of things against this defense of the Steelers. So I feel like this game will be won by the Steelers by a score of 21-17. For the final game of this week, we have the Kansas City Chiefs playing against the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs offense was really good, and they show us that they're really good offense and that Patrick Mahomes is having a record season. We're playing against the Denver Broncos and their really good defense with Von Miller. I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs will be on top in this game because they have Andy Reid as a coach, and the other side, the Denver Broncos coaching staff is not really good. So Chiefs will win this game. Even if this game is played in Denver, the arm of Patrick Mahomes will be really efficient in this game. So I'll give the win to the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 28-17. Thank you guys for watching. Those were my predictions for week 4 of the NFL. I'll be back next week for week 5 and with more NFL.